PageTunes Red. From the pages of PageTunes Magazine Monthly Number 4, April 2024. Story and artwork by Michael Zigerlig.
The Infestation. With each gentle rotation of the tires, the gravel whispered beneath us, its soft, crunching symphony harmonizing with the hum of the engine. As we drew nearer to our destination, the landscape unfolded before us, like a painting coming to life. The rolling hills undulated gracefully, their emerald slopes dotted with clusters of wildflowers swaying in the gentle breeze. The air, sweetened by the fragrance of blossoms and grass, wrapped around us. The cottage, adorned with a pristine white picket fence and surrounded by vibrant flower beds, exuded an aura of charm and tranquility. Its windows, framed by delicate curtains billowing softly in the breeze, seemed to beckon us inside with promises of warmth and comfort. Jason guided the car to a stop, and together we stepped out onto the gravel path, our senses alive with the sights and sounds. The chorus of chirping birds, a symphony of nature welcoming us. Yet, amidst this picturesque scene, there stood a strange wooden sign or totem with eerie carvings in front of the house. Jason and I exchanged uneasy glances, silently agreeing that it seemed out of place amidst the idyllic surroundings. Without hesitation, we decided to remove and put it in the small barn outside the house, not wanting its unsettling presence to taint the beauty of our new home. We unloaded our belongings from the car, each item a piece of our past, waiting to find its place in this new chapter of our lives. The front door, weathered with age yet filled with the promise of new beginnings, creaked open as we crossed the threshold. Inside, the warm glow of sunlight flooded the living room, and I couldn't help but smile as I took in the inviting space, imagining the memories waiting to be made. We spent the remainder of the day unpacking and settling in, each room a canvas, waiting to be filled with the colors of our lives. As we worked, we paused to admire the view from the windows, the expansive countryside stretching out before us like a patchwork quilt of green and gold. As the sun began its slow descent towards the horizon, we found ourselves drawn to the porch, where a weathered swing beckoned us to sit and soak in the beauty of our surroundings. With mugs of steaming tea cradled in our hands, we watched as the sky blazed with hues of pink and orange, a breathtaking display of nature's artistry. But soon, Jason and I began to experience peculiar incidents in our new home. It started innocently enough, a loaf of bread disappearing overnight, as if spirited away by unseen hands. At first, we laughed it off, chalking it up to forgetfulness, or perhaps a mischievous rodent. But soon, the occurrences became more unsettling. We would find scratches on the walls, deep gouges that seemed to appear overnight without explanation. One night, as I prepared dinner in the kitchen, I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoing through the hallway. I peeked around the corner, expecting to see Jason returning from his evening walk. But the hallway was empty, the only sound the soft hum of the refrigerator. Another evening, I awoke to the sound of whispers drifting through the house, faint and indistinct. I shook Jason awake, but when we searched the house, we found nothing amiss. Yet the feeling of unease lingered. As the days passed, the disturbances escalated, each incident more bizarre than the last. Objects would inexplicably move from one room to another, as if rearranged by some unseen force. Shadows danced at the edge of our vision, fleeting and elusive. One night, I caught a glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye. Startled, I turned to look, but there was nothing there. But then I saw them, shadowy figures flitting through the darkness, their forms twisted and contorted into grotesque shapes. They were small, almost childlike, but there was nothing innocent about them. With their pointed ears and sharp teeth, they looked really scary, reminding me of the depictions of goblins. Their eyes gleamed with malice, and their mouths twisted into sinister grins, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. As we scrambled to leave the place, we dashed towards our car, hoping to escape the horrors that surrounded us. But our relief turned to dread as we found the car unresponsive to our frantic attempts to start it. With trembling hands, we popped open the hood and peered inside, only to be greeted by a scene of utter devastation. The engine compartment was a mess of torn wires and shattered components, as if someone had deliberately sabotaged our means of escape. Wires hung loose like severed veins, and vital parts lay scattered amidst the wreckage. In disbelief, we surveyed the extent of the damage, realizing that we were stranded in the midst of danger. We immediately retreated back to the house. The little monsters, emboldened by their successful sabotage of our car, seemed to grow more audacious with each passing moment. No longer content to merely skulk in the shadows, they now brazenly prowled. We scrambled to secure our cottage. Our hands worked quickly, moving chairs and the heavy dining table to barricade the door. I gripped a kitchen knife tightly. Jason and I took positions at different vantage points, peering into the darkness, trying to catch any sign of movement. I tried to steady my breathing, reminding myself that fear would only hinder our chances. As the darkness descended, the creatures launched their assault. Suddenly, a sharp crack shattered the silence, followed by a series of quick, scuttling sounds. They were attacking. Empowered by the night, they threw themselves against the windows and doors with chilling enthusiasm. The sound of their twisted bodies hitting the barriers was terrifying. I shouted for Jason, and we both pushed back against the dining table as a group of them tried to force their way in through the front. "We can't let them through," Jason yelled over the cacophony, his face set in grim determination. I nodded, pushing back with all my strength, my other hand white-knuckling the knife. With a heart-stopping crack, the frame splintered, and gnarled hands with sharp, claw-like fingers reached through the opening. Jason grabbed a fireplace poker, swinging it with desperate intensity. He managed to fend off the first few invaders, his motions a blur of adrenaline. I stood beside him, wielding my kitchen knife, slashing at the gnarled fingers that grasped at the edges of our broken window. The conflict escalated quickly. More creatures found their way through other weak points, and the room became a frenzied battleground. Jason shouted a warning as one of them leapt towards him, its teeth snapping inches from his face as he fought to push it back. I saw its claws slashing deeply across Jason's arm. He winced in pain, but continued to fight. I rushed to his side to aid him, but the half-grown monsters overwhelmed him, their claws and teeth tearing mercilessly. With horror, I watched as Jason's strength waned. He fell to the ground with a thud, his blood mingling with the dirt and debris of our shattered sanctuary. Tears blurred my vision, but I retreated, stumbling backward through the chaos towards the back door. I burst out into the cool night air, the sounds of the creature's hisses, and the sight of Jason's motionless form etching a permanent scar in my memory. I ran, not daring to look back, my entire being focused on the small barn at the edge of our property. Reaching the barn, I slammed the door shut and scrambled to move anything I could find against it. Old tools, sacks of feed, and wooden planks fortified my new refuge. Exhausted and shaking, I sank to the floor, the events of the night replaying over in my mind. I wrapped my arms around my knees, the cold seeping into my bones, and waited for the dawn, hoping I had found enough safety to survive until light. In the darkness of the barn, my breaths came in short, sharp gasps as dawn's first light began to seep through the cracks in the wooden walls. It brought with it a realization that, apparently, the night's horrors had not followed me. Curiously, the creatures that had so viciously attacked our home had not dared to breach the barn. My mind raced with questions. Why had they stopped? What made this place different? It was then that my eyes fell upon the totem, the eerie wooden artifact we had unceremoniously removed from the front of the house and stashed here. The totem, with its intricate carvings and strange symbols, suddenly seemed more than just a misplaced artifact. It felt significant, powerful even. Perhaps, I thought, it held some influence over the creatures. With hesitant steps, I approached the totem. As I touched its rough surface, a wave of understanding washed over me. With the totem in my arms, I made my way to the barn door, pushing it open. Sunlight bathed the landscape in a warm glow, erasing the traces of last night's terror. But there, at the edge of the clearing, the creatures lingered. They were just as I remembered from the night, misshapen, with glistening eyes and sharp, pointed teeth, a stark contrast to the peaceful morning. I stepped out, clutching the totem close, its presence a shield between me and the horrors that faced me. To my astonishment, as the creatures caught sight of the totem, their aggressive snarls turned into whimpers, their hostile postures melting into bows of reverence. They circled around, not with the intent to attack, but with a deference that was almost ceremonial. Trembling, I held the totem higher, and as I did, a silence fell over the clearing. These terrifying invaders now seemed like subjects before their queen. They watched me with eyes wide, their movements cautious and respectful.
If you've been captivated by the magic of this audiobook, here's how you can immerse yourself even further and support the creation of more enthralling tales for your enjoyment. Unlock the ultimate listening journey with a yearly subscription on PageTunes.com. No interruptions, ad-free, and exclusive access to the full library of audiobooks and ebooks. Download and enjoy captivating stories offline, anytime, anywhere. Whether through subscription or individual purchases, you play a vital role in bringing more enchanting stories to life. Explore the merch store. From cozy hoodies to stylish mugs and much more, every purchase directly contributes to crafting more thrilling tales for your pleasure. Thank you and happy listening.